close away the things I plan to say. Oh, baby.
All right, for our first craft, we're only going to need a couple of things. Some felt stickers and a little metal house from the Dollar Tree, and it's already red, so this fits perfectly into my Valentine decor. So the first thing I did was pick out a heart. And when I saw these felt stickers, I was like, yes, these are exactly what I want for like putting onto a house. And then I just happened to find this little metal house. It's like a tea light house. And I was super excited because this project is so easy. You take a tea light house and you take a couple of these felt heart stickers. You stick one on the front of the house. And it was a little challenging, but I was able to reposition the stickers so that it fit just where I wanted it to go. And then I took a second heart sticker and put that over top of the first one that I had applied. And that way the light from the tea light won't be showing as much. And this project is pretty much done. How easy is that? And yes, Dollar Tree even has LED tea lights. And the battery is already inside. All you have to do is turn it on and you have a flickering tea light. And you just put it in the back of the house just like that. And there is a pretty little Valentine house. Isn't it adorable? And it was so simple to do this project. Okay, for the next project, first I found this XOXO sign, and the reason I wanted the sign was because of that metal heart, that tin heart at the top. That was my sole purpose for buying this sign. And here is an easy trick that I found to get these tin parts off of the signs from the Dollar Tree so you don't damage the tin. Just by lifting it up from the back with, I think I got that for my Cricut, you can easily remove the tin from the sign. And then I found this frame. It's a 4x6 plastic frame, and I like the depth of it, but the color wasn't exactly what I wanted. So I took everything apart and removed the glass from the frame. Then I have this Heirloom Traditions all-in-one chalk paint, which works awesome even on painting plastic, which this frame is. And I just did a couple of coats of this paint, and this is in Iron Gate. So basically it's black, and I just painted the frame with the Iron Gate paint. And now I have a picture frame in the color that I wanted it to be. So then I took some paper that I got from Hobby Lobby, and this is like shiplap paper, and I used the interior of the photo frame to cut out a smaller piece of the paper. See, it's just a little bit larger than the photo frame itself. And then I took some Mod Podge and I just painted that all over the back of the picture frame. So this is like the back part that's going to hold the picture in place. Next, I put the paper on top and just secured it down. And then I used a blade to cut off the excess of the paper around the frame. And then I took the tin heart and I painted it with my favorite gold Rust-Oleum metallic finish spray paint. And one part that I didn't film, unfortunately, was how I attached the tin heart to the frame. I used a Jenga block and I hot glued that to the shiplap paper. Then I hot glued the tin heart on top of it. All right, now if you like making blocks with words on them or letters on them, these foam dice from the Dollar Tree are really fun to work with, and you get 4 for $1. So what I did was just painted the blocks with several coats of white acrylic paint. Now the primary colors of the blocks, it really shows through. So this is a little bit of a time-consuming project because after I painted each of the blocks, I had to let them completely dry and then paint them again. I think I did about 4 coats of paint on each of the blocks. And you want to make sure you do really thin coats because if you do it too thick, the paint will actually crack over the foam. Then I used my Cricut machine and I just picked a font that I liked, and using some Dollar Tree vinyl, this is a glitter kind of a rose gold vinyl, I cut out the letters XOXO. And then I just attached them to the foam blocks. And I have to say that the glitter paper from the Dollar Tree, it actually works really nice. I was really impressed. I wasn't quite sure how well it was going to work, but it really worked good. And I really like the glitter and the rose gold color on the white blocks. And here are the XOXO blocks ready to be used in some Valentine's Day decorating. All right, I've got one more really fun and easy project for you. This is another picture, and I really liked this picture frame. I loved that it was pink. That will fit perfectly into my Valentine decorating. It was exactly what I was looking for. And I kept the frame just like it was because it was just what I wanted. Next, I coated the back, or the part that holds the picture in again, with Mod Podge. And once the back was all coated with the Mod Podge, then I found this paper from Hobby Lobby, which of course I bought it when it was 50% off. And I just applied the paper to the front, which will now be the front, of the back of the side. And then I just cut off the excess paper so the paper will only be on the part that's going to be on the sign. Like I said, this is such an easy project. That looks pretty good. Now, I bought these hearts from Amazon, and I will leave a link down below just in case you're curious, but I got like 60 different hearts, and so I was just playing around, and I really liked how the red heart looked with the little heart background. So then I just applied some hot glue, and I secured it onto the backing. And here is my adorable little Valentine sign. And it even stands up on its own. All right, so the first project we're gonna make is basically a box of roses. I have this picture frame, I guess you could call it. And then I bought these roses on Amazon. These are foam roses, and this is a box of 50. Yes, 50 foam roses. They even have these metal stems, so you could easily use them for lots of different projects. And then you're gonna need some floral foam. So I started by taking this block of floral foam, and I just cut it so that it would fit into the picture frame. I used my trusty Subway knife to cut the foam. And when I put it in, this is the right size, but it's a little too tall. So I'm gonna cut down the foam so that it will not be overlapping the top edge of the picture frame. And I found it's easiest to cut the foam by just kind of scoring a little bit into each side and doing that on all 4 sides, and then bringing the knife all the way through the foam. So then I have my foam, and yes, this is gonna work great inside the picture. So then I just use my glue gun and put some glue on the bottom for the foam to stick to. And I should mention, I got this picture, it said it was $9.99, but I actually got it in a Michael's grab bag or grab box for $5, and I got a whole bunch of stuff, and this was perfect for my project. All right, so now onto the fun part. We are going to attach the roses. So I'm basically cutting off most of the stem and then just applying a little bit of hot glue and then sticking the rose down into the floral foam. Pretty easy, right? Right. So I just did 3 rows of roses, and that is pretty much all it took to make this awesome little, I guess, rose box. And what's really nice is these roses will last forever, so I don't have to worry that they're going to get wilty or anything like that. All I have to do is package them up with my Valentine's Day decorations, and I'll be able to use it year after year. So all in, as you can see, it took 9 roses to make this rose box, which means I have a lot of roses left for some more projects. And there you go. There are the roses. A box of roses. How easy was that? And this is what they look like finished. Pretty fancy, don't you think? And very easy. Oh, right. For our next project, we are just going to be painting some blocks. Now, these are 4x4 blocks of wood that I just happened to have that were remnants of another project, and they are perfect for what I'm intending to use them for. And one of the blocks I painted a dark red, and the other block I painted, it's almost like a really light, soft pink. And it did take me 2 coats of paint to make sure that none of that wood was showing through. And once the paint was dry, then I just attached some embellishments to the front of the wood, like this love heart. I got these wooden hearts from Amazon. It was a package of 60 hearts and it was $13.99. So the hearts cost about 24 cents a piece. And I just attached one of the hearts to the block of wood. Now for the red block, I really wanted to do the love saying, you know, L-O-V-E. So I used my Cricut machine and I just cut out the letters L-O-V-E. Now, if you wanted to get really creative, you could do L-Heart-V-E. But for me, I really just wanted it to say love. So once I had the letters all cut out, then I just attached them to some transfer tape. And I did this individually because for me, that seemed to work the best, so then I can attach the letters onto the red block of wood. And once I had all of the letters onto the transfer tape, without exposing the sticky side, I set them up just to make sure they were going to fit on the block of wood. So I started with the L and placed that letter down, then removed the transfer tape, and then I just worked my way around the block with all of the letters. There's the O and the V and the E. And I have a nice block of wood that says love. These are what they look like all finished. And next I'm going to make a stack of books, and I'm going to use red, a light pink, and a regular pink, I guess you could say. Those are the colors of the blocks. And then I just squeezed a little bit of each color of paint out so that I could paint the blocks. Now these blocks of wood are from a 1x4 piece of lumber. Obviously you can see I was going to use them in another project, but I cut each piece 6 inches long, and then I just painted each block a different color. So I have a pink one, a light pink one, and a red one. Now I really wanted to find some of those book blocks, those stacked books at the Dollar Tree, but every time I went they didn't have them. So I decided to give it a try and see if I could make my own stacked books decor. And while the blocks of wood were drying, I took some wooden hearts and I painted one of them red. This is going to go on top of the stack of books, so I didn't have to paint the underside. I only needed to paint one side, whatever color I wanted it to be, which happens to be red. And after my blocks of wood were all dry, then I needed to attach them together. I determined that I wanted the darker pink to go on the bottom, then the red, then the light pink. So I just used my glue gun and attached the blocks to each other. And then I found this ribbon at the Dollar Tree. It's a sheer pink ribbon, and I'm just going to wrap this around one end of my books. So using a little bit of glue, I secure the ribbon on the bottom. And this ribbon is pretty sheer, so I am going to wrap it around a couple of times so that you can really see it. And I'm pretty happy with the way that ribbon looks, so I'm going to add a little bit more glue to secure it down on the bottom again. But I wanted a little bit extra, not just the ribbon. So I found this baker's twine, and again, this is from the Dollar Tree. It comes in a package of 3, and this is almost like a really light spring color. And I used some of the white and pink ribbon, and I'm going to overwrap this onto the sheer ribbon that's already on my books. And again, that's pretty thin, so I'm going to wrap this around several times. And I think 3 times around is pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and secure the baker's twine on the bottom as well. So now I have the wrapped books. They kind of look like books. And then I'm going to attach the heart embellishment to the top. And I put a little bit of glue over the ribbon, as well as one side of the heart. And I wanted a little bit more, so I made a bow out of the baker's twine, and I'm going to attach that to the center of the heart. And there are my stacked books. Now they just need some lettering. So again, I used my Cricut machine, and I just cut out the letters, hugs and kisses, and then I attached one word to each of the stacked books. Pretty cute. And this is what the stacked books looks like when it's all done. Not quite the same as what you'll find in Hobby Lobby or even Dollar Tree, but this is definitely an original piece, and I made it myself. All right, so this next project, I had 2 pieces of wood that were from another project from the Dollar Tree. So I hot glue gunned them together, and then I painted them to basically look like an easel or a word sign, like if you were playing Scrabble. And I added a little bit of distressing with some different colored browns and some white. And then I found these adorable Scrabble letters at Hobby Lobby, and they were about $2. So I just took some of the letters off and put them onto my little bench here. And I decided that I wanted to make this little bench say "Be Mine" and use one of the little hearts. Isn't that cute? Isn't that easy? And again, this is an original. Project. Now, this one is so much fun. I really like this wreath. I do like the love that's on the front of it, so I'm going to be really careful when I take this off because there might be another project that I could use this for. See, that's really nice. I'm sure I can find something for that. And then I unwrapped the red garland from the heart. And I was really happy to see the form underneath it because this is going to work perfect for me to actually make an awesome rose wreath. And look at all that garland I have for another project. So I'm going to be using the roses again that I got from Amazon. And I'm really glad that I got the 50 pack of roses because I'm going to use them all. So first I removed the stems from each of the roses. And next I just worked my way around the wreath form with my glue gun, putting a little bit of glue on each of the roses and attaching it to the form. And having the heart have this grid around it makes it so much easier to help the roses to stay in place. And with the roses being made from foam, they actually are very flexible and very moldable, so you can mold them the way that you need to in order to keep the heart shape of your wreath. Now I have seen where other people have done like an ombre rose wreath like this, but I didn't have those roses, so I figured I might as well use these, and I really like how pretty this is with the bright red. To me, that just signifies Valentine's Day. Now, I know this looks like it's a time-consuming project, but if you just take your time and do one row at a time, I think you're going to be really happy with your results. And the rose wreath is just about done. I do see one spot right there that it could use another rose. And I happen to have one left, so I'm going to go ahead and glue that extra rose into place. And there it is. There is my beautiful Valentine's rose wreath that is now hanging up on my wall. Is make a yarn heart wreath, and I've got this yarn that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I literally am just wrapping it around the wreath form, which I did get from the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to wrap the entire wreath form with this yarn, and it didn't take a whole lot. I still have probably half of a skein, I think that's what it's called, of the yarn, so I can use it for another project. But I thought this would be fun to have more of a neutral colored heart instead of doing the traditional red. So I'm just gonna go against the grain a little bit here and do something a little bit different. And once I had the wreath form wrapped with the chunky yarn, then I took some white yarn that's really tiny, and then I over wrapped the thick chunky yarn. And this is how it turned out. And this was so easy. Look at that. It's so pretty hanging up on the wall. I really like the different colors and the different textures of the yarn. I think it gives a little bit of a rustic farmhouse Valentine's Day decor. What do you think? All right, for our next project, we are going to make a vase, and I'm going to be using these stickers that I got at the Dollar Tree. And actually that little vase is from the Dollar Tree as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply the stickers in, I don't know, I guess it's kind of a pattern, but I just started playing around and applying the stickers onto the jar, which eventually will be my vase. And I really liked how this pattern was turning out. I think it looks really pretty, but don't worry, we're not going to leave it like this. And once I got to the point where I was really happy with the pattern and I didn't want to overdo it, I just wanted a little bit of the jewel accents just in the front of the vase. And then I took it outside and gave it a coat of satin finish white spray paint. And once it was dry, brought it back inside, and using some of this really pretty, I guess it's kind of a ribbon, but it's made out of metal. And I found this at the Dollar Tree. I went ahead and attached that around the top portion of the jar. So the vase is pretty much done, but I wanted to add some flowers. So I had these white roses that are silk roses, and they actually came from the Dollar Tree, surprise. But what I did was I just took different shades of pink acrylic paint and I just started painting the flowers. I wasn't really sure how this was going to turn out, but actually the more that I did it, the better these ended up looking. And I think you can see on my palette, I have 2 shades of pink and then a red. So I just kind of blended all of those together to get a really unique look on my roses. And I don't think there's a right or wrong way how to do this. I just dipped the paintbrush into the paint and just randomly added some strokes of color to the silk flowers. And once they were dry, then I put a piece of styrofoam into that little vase, and then I secured the flowers in place. I really like the way those flowers turned out. And here are the finished flowers in their beautiful little vase, but look at how pretty they are. Very unique looking, and I've never seen silk flowers like that, have you? And of course, the vase. I really like how this turned out too. And for our next project, we are going to make a little riser out of this wooden heart that I got at the Dollar Tree. It's really pretty and it has kind of a mitered edge on it. So what I'm going to do is take 3 beads, and using some wood glue from the Dollar Tree, I'm going to secure the beads onto the bottom of the wooden heart. And then I set that off to the side to dry. And once it was dry, then it was time to paint it. So I went ahead and painted the bottom because, you know, you should paint the bottom. So I painted the bottom first. And then I flipped it over and painted the sides as well as the top. And I am using a white chalk paint. I love this chalk paint. This is Heirloom Traditions chalk paint in cashmere. And then I did also take a little bit of gray because I want this to have kind of a rustic farmhouse look. And I did different shades of gray and kind of painted in the white just to kind of make it look like it's blended together, but a little bit different. And then I took just the white chalk paint and I just repainted around that mitered edge just to make it stand out a little bit more. And I showed you this in my Dollar Tree haul. This was an adorable little loads of love truck, and he's perfect for a tiered tray. But now I'm going to show you, these are so cool. So these were on top of toothpicks that I got from the Dollar Tree, and we are going to make farmhouse beads with them, like a little mini strand of farmhouse beads. So first I start by applying some painter's tape to the end of some jute twine. This makes it easier to thread the needle. And then I push that jute right through the eye of the needle. And now I can easily put these little heart beads onto the jute twine. Now these heart beads, like I said, were actually a part of toothpicks, and they came in a set of 20 from the Dollar Tree. And I just removed the toothpick ends and voila, I have heart beads. This will just be a tiny little accent to go across the top of that little heart riser that I just made. And I'm just tying a knot into the end of the jute twine on one side, so if I did want to hang this up, I could. And then next I'm going to make a tassel for the other end. And making tassels is really easy. Just wrap some jute twine or yarn, whatever you have, around your hand. And the more you wrap it around, the thicker it's going to be. So then I'm just going to take another piece of jute and tie it to one end of that loop that I had around my hand. And then I'm going to cut the opposite end. That's going to be the bottom and like where it gets really full with the tassel. Now for the top, what I'm going to do is take one of those ends that I used to tie the knot in, and I'm going to pull that through the top. And then I'm going to kind of work around the pieces of jute, and using another piece, I'm going to tie the top section off. And this one didn't have to be very big because this is a really small little bead strand. And once I had that knot secure, then I cut the little pieces from that piece of twine. And now I'm going to cut the bottom off so that all of the ends are nice and equal. And then I'm going to secure that tassel to the end of my tiny strand of heart farmhouse beads. And there they are. Look at how adorable those are laying on top of that little heart riser that I just made. Super cute and super easy. Well, this one is so much fun. So I started with a blank. This was actually a pumpkin sign from the Dollar Tree that I had painted white. Then I added in some gray and black acrylic paint and just kind of blended them a little bit so that I get different shades on the front of it. And then I took a heart that I got from the Dollar Tree. This was actually a part of a wreath. And I just took some baker's twine and I wrapped that around the heart. And if this is your first time joining, welcome, and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Let me introduce myself. My name is Lisa, and I love sharing motivational home decor and DIY videos with you. If you enjoy this type of content, please consider subscribing. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your continuing support. Now I did end up using all of that string that was on that one little roll, but that's okay because now I'm going to come in with another layer of string, and this is the jute twine, again from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to continue wrapping all around the heart. My goal is to have this be pretty covered, but I do want to see that baker's twine in between the jute twine so that you can see different layers of the material going around the heart. Next, I took this ribbon from the Dollar Tree, I cut it into strips, and now I'm going to secure it onto the front portion of the heart. And this was easy to do just using a glue gun. I did use that little finger cup because that does protect your finger very well from the heat of the glue gun, and you can find those at the Dollar Tree too. And when I was done with the front, then I flipped it over and basically just secured all of those loose pieces onto the back of the heart. Now you could cut it if you wanted to, but I really like the look. It gives it a little bit of a puffier look on the front, which you'll be able to see when I'm all finished. Isn't that pretty? All right, so now my blank has completely dried. So I'm going to use hot glue again, and I'm going to secure that to the front of that sign that I just painted. Just like that. And then I did add some yarn, and I wrote out the word love on the bottom before hanging it up. I really love the different layers. Super pretty and super easy. I really love how this turned out. Oh, I'm so excited to share this with you guys. So this is from the Dollar Tree, and it's in the Dollar Plus section. And this is just a wood tray that measures 11 by 14. Then I'm going to take some air dry clay, and I'm just going to roll this out. And then on that tray, I'm going to form this so it makes like a U, like a really long U. And then I'm going to repeat the process and do it again. And can you tell what this is going to be? This is going to be a heart. And I really like the way that those pieces are ending up. So I set them off the side to dry, and then I did give a coat of white chalk paint to that little tray. And when that was dried, then I took some spackle, and this is like ultra lightweight spackle, and I added that to the back of the tray. And what this is going to do is give it some texture. I want it to look rough, and I want it to be a little bit raised, but all going in straight lines, mostly. And once my air dry clay was dry, then I took the pieces and assembled them onto the tray. I did use some hot glue to secure the pieces in place. And then I filled in each section of the air dried clay. And again, I wanted it to have a rough appearance. I wanted to be able to see the different lines in the spackle. And then I repeated the process on the other side of the air dried clay, so the other side of the heart. And then I allowed it to dry. And once it was dry, then I took some chalk paint that I had mixed a little bit of spackle in, because again, I really wanted to show some texture. And then I painted everything on the inside with that spackle paste chalk paint combination. I did paint the frame separately with just chalk paint. And this is how it turned out. I think it turned out so pretty. And I was actually inspired to create this when I found something similar on Pottery Barn for $143. I think mine cost about $5, so I'm pretty happy with my results. All right, so here is my farm truck. And as you can see, a couple of the wheels fell off. So I'm going to have to fix those at the end of this, but this was the truck I found. It's a metal truck. I found it on Amazon for about $10, and I really like the grill, so I'm going to keep those original. And I like the tires, especially the ones that are still in place. So I'm going to cover those up as well. And I thought, you know, I could end up just repainting everything and making it look brand new, but I really did like how the grille and the front bumper of this truck were, so I decided to cover them up with some painter's tape to protect them and then also to make it so I don't have to paint them. And even though this is a smaller project, I just tore pieces of the painter's tape off and just kind of fit it to everything that I wanted to stay original. It works much better to work with small pieces of tape and use more of them rather than using big pieces of tape and trying to make it work. And I know this might seem like a painstaking process, but in the end, you'll be very happy that you took the time to do this. All right, the grille is all taped off. And I only have to tape off 2 tires because the other 2 tires came off. So I don't have to worry about taping them because I don't have to worry that they're going to get any overspray or paint on them. So I just taped off the tires on the back of the truck. And then got to work for the interior because the interior is actually painted white and I like that, so I wanted it to stay white. I didn't want to have to try to figure out how to paint it. So I just used some painter's tape and taped off the windows so that the pink spray paint will not get on the inside of the truck. Not perfect, but it'll do. And now we're going to paint it. And I found this paint. It's a high gloss paint. I found it actually at True Value, and that was the only place I could find pink spray paint. So I just did a couple of coats of pink spray paint all over the truck and tried to take my time, but it was pretty exciting to see the shininess and the pinkness of my little farm truck. It did take a couple of coats to cover up that happy harvest that was written on the sides, but overall, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. That is one shiny pink truck. So now that it's all dry, all I have to do is remove the tape from the wheels, the grille, and the inside of the truck. And I think you can see my tape job did pretty well. There's no overspray, which is great. So now I'm just really curious of how the inside is and hoping that it looks the same and that it's nice and the original white. And it's so exciting to see the end result of my paint job. I did really well. I didn't get any overspray on any of the original part. I wanted to keep those original colors. Now I did end up painting the lights on the front as well as the door handles because that just really wasn't worth the work it would have created. So now I'm just taking some silver paint and painting the headlights as well as the door handles. And then of course I have to repair it and put the wheels back on the front. But there you go. My little pink farm truck is ready for some flowers. And I just used random pieces of floral arrangements that I had, some that I'd already used, and some random greenery to get the look that I wanted for the back of the truck, because basically I just wanted to fill it up with flowers. And like all of my projects, there's no rhyme or reason. I just kind of put things in where I thought they would work. And if it didn't work, then I just took it out and added something different until I got the look that I wanted. Oh, that's just so cute. I'm so happy with this. And there is my adorable spring farm truck. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so adorable. And this is exactly what I was hoping to achieve. A pink farm truck with flowers in the back. And actually, this project was very easy. It was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. And the end result is exactly what I wanted. So now with this project done, it's on to a new one. Okay, so the first thing you'll need is a wiffle ball and these foam roses from the Dollar Tree. And they come in a pack of 18. And I actually ended up using 3 packages of these foam roses. And all we're gonna do is dump out all the roses. And then we're going to glue them to the wiffle ball. So this hot glue gun is actually on a low temperature because it's really hot. And I just spread the glue around and then attach the foam flowers to the ball. And I tried to keep the flowers pretty close because I don't want that yellow showing through. And then I just worked my way around the entire ball and just covered it with these foam flowers. This is so much fun, and I love the Dollar Tree with all of these little embellishments because you can make some really great crafts and DIY projects that don't necessarily look DIY. So I just worked my way all the way around the wiffle ball, attaching all of these beautiful little pink foam flowers. And I think they actually have these in red too. So if you wanted to do this topiary with red foam flowers, you could do that too. All right, we are almost at the end. We have covered the entire wiffle ball with these pink foam flowers. And the foam flowers are really nice because even if there's a little space, you can squeeze one in, just like that. All right, so now we have the topiary part of our project done. Isn't this pretty? Okay, so now that we have the main part of the topiary done, now we have to make the stem that it's going to go onto. And I found these wooden skewers or bamboo skewers at the Dollar Tree. And then I found some dough. I guess this is kind of like Play-Doh. That is what I'm going to wrap around the skewer to make this look like a stem. So I just rolled it out using my hand to make it pretty thin. And you have to be really careful when you're working with this because if you put too much pressure on it, it will break. So just use a little bit of pressure, and even if it takes you a little bit of time, it's okay. It's worth it in the end. So then I took the line of the rolled out dough and I just rolled it around the skewer. And I did apply a little bit of pressure to help keep it in place. And then I just kind of secured it down at the bottom. And there's the stem for my topiary. And of course, I'm going to use some Rust-Oleum paint to make it beautiful. And the easiest way to paint this is to put it into a piece of the green floral foam, which you can also find at the Dollar Tree. And I found this really pretty jar, and it's going to be the base of our topiary. So I'm going to use some Mod Podge, and I happen to have some sparkle Mod Podge, and then I had some glitter because I don't want the clear part showing. So I'm going to coat all of the clear area with Mod Podge. And this was a little bit challenging, so I ended up dumping in some Mod Podge to the little vase. And then I just used my paintbrush and worked my way all the way around, making sure everything was coated with the Mod Podge. Now this was the first time that I actually saw one of these little vases there, and I really liked the gold on it, and I thought that would work really well with this topiary. So then I just dumped in some glitter. This is ultra fine glitter, and I think I got this at Hobby Lobby a couple of years ago, but I just dumped it into the vase, and then I just spun the vase around and turned it, and then dumped the glitter back into its original container. So I can still see a little bit of clear glass, so I'm going to go ahead and do this again with the glitter and just make sure that it's coating everything because I don't want any clear showing. And then when I was finished, I just dumped back the excess glitter back into the original container. All right, so here is my little topiary with the gold stem in place. Now, it did take a lot of hot glue to get this to stand up, but eventually it did. It was just a very slow process. All right, so now that I have my topiary tree ready to go, I need to have something to secure it into the vase. So I took another piece of the floral foam and just cut little pieces off until I got it to the size it needed to be for the vase. Or I guess this is probably a candle holder. So I think I have it pretty good. It fits in there really well, but it's a little bit tall. So I was thinking, how am I going to make this even? So I just put the knife in and then just cut off the excess with that little knife. And that's actually a Subway knife. They work really good for crafting projects. So then I don't really want to tear up my little Play-Doh on my stem. So I used the back of a paintbrush, and then I used the back of a larger paintbrush to make a hole in the center of the foam. Then tested it out. And that is pretty close of where I want it to be. I am happy with that. So now all I have to do is secure the foam into the vase. So I just used my glue gun again. Again, this is on a low setting. This glue gun is really nice. I got it on Amazon and it has high and low, and you can take the cord off. So that's kind of cool. So I secure the foam inside, and then I'm also going to put some hot glue down the center of the floral foam. Because this is a pretty tall project, I really want to make sure that my topiary is secure. And then I just carefully inserted the topiary tree. Got it to where I was happy with the positioning. And there it is. That is the tree. Look at how cute that is already. It's a little wobbly, but it's still really pretty. Now I've got to cover up that base so you can't see the foam, right? And I found this green floral moss at the Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to use some of that and put it over the top where the floral foam is sticking out because I don't really want anyone to see that. So I used my hot glue gun and put some glue on the foam. And then I took small pieces of the moss and then just put it around the base of the topiary. And actually you get a lot of this green floral moss. I think this is also called reindeer moss. I'm not 100% sure. If anyone knows, please leave a comment let me know if this is reindeer moss. I just really liked the green color and I thought it worked really well with my project. But for $1, you get quite a bit of this moss, so I'm really happy that Dollar Tree has this. Pretty soon though, I think it's going to be $1.25, but that's okay. $1.25 is a lot better than if I were to buy this in a big craft store. And then I'm just trimming up a little bit of the edges because I don't want them hanging over the sides. And there is the base of my topiary tree. And here is what it looks like all done, sitting on my craft table. Look at how pretty that is. And here it is in my Valentine DIY projects, just kind of hanging out, looking pretty. This was such a fun project. Look at how beautiful that is. And would you have even guessed that I made this using things from the Dollar Tree? And then I had a few little extras from the Dollar Tree, so I added those in, including these little hearts that were on toothpicks. And I really like the hearts, so I just pulled them off the top of the toothpicks and then just randomly placed them on each of the trays, along with some silk flowers. And then I also found these wooden hearts at the Dollar Tree. You get a whole bunch of them, and I just kind of added those as well. And this is the end result. This is my awesome trash to treasure thrift store tiered tray that I was able to make for less than $10. I am so pleased with how this turned out. It is so pretty, and I think you can kind of see the finish. The semi-gloss finish is just, it's just really unique. Not too shiny and not too matte.